Hi, my name is Sina and I'm with the development team of the Ammonit, and I mostly work on the devices that we use with our data loggers. It's mostly sensors or modems or cameras and stuff like that. And today I'm giving a short review of all the different ways that we can bring the data logger online and communicate with it remotely. So, in the sense of communication, Meteo-42 is quite similar to Meteo-40. There are some minor differences, and I'll point them out when we get to them. But generally, for both our loggers, we have two ways to connect with them and interact with them. One of them is locally, and that is using the internet or the USB or the USB stick. I mean, USB stick is not interactive, but you get a way to communicate with the modem. And this is mostly used when we don't have a good communication way, or there is we want to do some repairs or some data rescue and stuff like that. So it's not the normal way of communicating with the data logger. And my colleague Stefan Kuhn will talk more about this in his presentation. What I'm focusing on today is how we connect to the internet. And for this, we have different ways. Two major ways for us are the LAN modem and router, and the other one is the USB modem. And the third one is the BGAN modem, which is actually kind of a LAN modem, but it has different behavior and different kind of circumstances, so I've categorized it separately. And there are some other ways that we could also use. We are open to different types of communication. For example, Starlink, we have been discussing Starlink and we want to try it, and other ways. So if you have any ideas or ways that you want to try, just let us know. And moreover, we can have different ways of communication. I mean, the data logger can communicate today, it can go online in different ways, but only one of them is the main route. And I'll show you how to find that out. So the first one are the LAN modems and routers. They are, plug and play and very easy to set up. We currently offer Route 241, which is the newer model of Route 240. And setting them up is on the LAN page of our loco. It's quite easy. You don't have to do anything. Everything is done in the modem, and you just need to put the IP address allocation method to DHCP, and it should be good to go. And with this easiness comes some drawbacks also. So here we are using a router actually, which routes us online, but we have to do everything on the router itself. So we can use the data logger to set up the communication. We just use it. So we lose some functionality. So for example, we can't send SMS. We can't set the PIN of the SIM card here. If there's a problem, we can't use the data logger to find out what the problem is, but we should go into the router itself to find out, and that's not always very easy to do. But as I said, it's very easy. If it works and you have set up everything on the router itself correctly, then it works and you don't have to worry about anything. It's like using a switch or a router in the office. And also the page corresponding to it, as I mentioned earlier, is the LAN page on the loco. The other type is the USB modem types. This is the modem that it's not a router, it's actually a modem. And currently we offer PLS-8E and soon MC90, which covers all the bands, so it's good to go everywhere. And here, so first of all, we use the modem page. The modem page of the loco is actually the USB modem page. So many people we have some problems. They want to set up a LAN modem. They go to the modem page. They are kind of right, but yeah, here just for the USB modem. And the good thing is that we can do more on the data logger itself. So we can set up the APN, SIM pin and see all the operator, the signal strength, and the bands that we are using. And also, this is one of the things that is different to Meteo-40. We can also turn them on and off by turning on and off a USB, since they are connected via USB. So we can use the USB to switch them off. But for the LAN modems, we had to set up also a switch parallel to the everything else to turn them on and off. Yeah, they might be a bit more difficult to set up. Not really, but compared to a router. But then we have more accessibility. Also, it's easier for us to troubleshoot because then we have all the logs on the data logger, and if you give us permission, we can log into the modem, data logger, and see what's happening with the modem, and communicate with the modem manager, and help you better, like if you're using the right band, if the signal strength is not enough, and everything is recorded. Here's just one tip for later. We have had with PLS-8 sometimes the problem before that even though 4G or LTE was available, they wouldn't connect, they wouldn't use it, they would fall back to 2G. Or the modem was insisting on using 4G even though 4G was not there, and so we have to kind of make it to use 2G. So the last part on the image on the left, the band restriction is quite important. So you can play with it if you're having a problem with your modem to just make it to use a specific band that works best for you. Yeah, then we have the BGAN modems. As I said earlier, the BGAN modem is actually not from the point of view of it communicating with the data logger, it's not actually a new kind of modem or router. It's just a LAN router. But since it routes satellite communication towards the modem, we handle it with special care because of course it's very expensive. We have, on the left, on the picture in the bottom, you can see that very last we have check optimal BGAN settings. Whenever using a BGAN modem, please always click that, and the data logger itself tells you what to do to make it best work for you. So how it should be set up so that your communication is as cost efficient as possible. So for example, we can send the data on the data logger through different ways, like SMS, a monitor, different ways. So why would you send data through different ways if the communication is so expensive? So you should only use one, like I don't know, email, whatever you like. And also we usually have the LAN online whenever KEX is on. So KEX is our main processor, the processor that is not always on. The Mars is the one that is always on. And by default, the LAN is also always online whenever KEX is on. This is not optimal behavior for BGAN modems because not whenever KEX is on, you need to be communicating. Usually we prefer that so that we can turn the data logger on and then also communicate with it. But with BGAN modem, we should be more careful. Also, there are so many different ways and criteria for data logger to open a tunnel, formerly known as tunnel, now OmniConnect. And yeah, sometimes these things get in the way of each other. So you should also make sure that the implicit OmniConnect activation is off so that you open the tunnel whenever it needs to be on. Other than that, as I said, it's just like a LAN router, and there's not much to do to set up on the router itself, and from the data logger part also. The things that I said are just to be more cost friendly, but the communication works. If you don't do them, you're paying more, but it is working. Yeah, and like everything else in our data logger, you can have an overview of everything what is happening, especially also with the communication on our information page. I have highlighted two of them that are the most important. On top left, you can see the different ways of connection. Ethernet, modem, and OmniConnect is here active. And you can see it in the picture, but it is too small, but there's also a small plus sign next to OmniConnect. it shows that that we as a supplier, we have admin access to the data logger. So if you want us to debug your data logger, you should turn it on, and from here you can realize if we have access or not. And the one that is bold is actually the preferred route. So the Ethernet is preferred here for communicating to the internet, even though modem is accessible. And on the bottom, you see that we have these different ways of communication, and it shows how many data traffic has passed through each. So we have never used USB from right, and also never modem, but we have always used the Ethernet. It was a logger in the office, so we use the internet. Yeah, that's it. As I said, not very different than Meteo-40, but more convenient, like the USB turning on and off, and the newer modems that are supported on Meteo-42, but not on Meteo-40. Yep, thank you.